Hello, welcome to Showing Up, Episode 2 with Pam. I am very excited today. I have one of my close friends, and I want to introduce you to her. Her name is Patty Vries. Patty was born in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and she received a full athletic scholarship to Stanford University. She was a 9-time NCAA All-American shot put and discus thrower and competed in the 1988 Olympic trials. In 1995, she founded Timeout Services, which by 2008 earned $5 million in yearly revenue and employed over 100 people. Patty and her team were instrumental in designing the original wellness programs for Google, Cisco, Yahoo, Safeway, and KLA-Tencor. In 2009, Patty sold the corporate wellness division and trademarked Community Boot Camp program to Plus One of New York, which is now Optum. Patty's awards include the Key to the City of Grand Forks, North Dakota, Business Journal Top Woman in Business, and Top 50 Influential Women of Silicon Valley. Today, Patty supports the wellness initiatives across the entire Stanford enterprise. This includes Stanford University, Stanford Healthcare, Stanford's Children's Health, and Stanford's Linear Accelerator program, also known as SLAC. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you, Pam. Thanks for having me today.
Your accomplishments, Patty, are very impressive.
Thank you. Just moving forward, always moving forward.
So let's get started. My first question to you, I know we are having some challenging times. Can you tell me who is really showing up big for you now?
There's a lot of people showing up big. And I'm going to say straight up, you've shown up big. You and I hadn't been in a lot of contact for a lot of years, and just reconnecting during this time has been such a gift. My team at Stanford is showing up in a big way. They've figured out how to pivot the work we were doing on campus and pivoted to a webinar-based program, and our coaching is now online. I've got friends that are showing up in a big way. I started doing fireside chats as a way to just really connect with the outside world. You were on one of the fireside chats. The people that have agreed to be part of that, they're showing up in a big way. And I'm really realizing that I've collected an amazing group of people in my life that I can't imagine living without. And it really shows up in daily, in my interactions, in text messages, in phone calls, in communications like this, and just supporting each other. And it's really been a gift.
That is great. Yeah, it's always good to have a great support system around you. So I'm glad to hear that's going on for you. You know, when I read your accomplishments and I realized the path you've taken, I was curious because it sort of made sense to me that you might do something with fitness and wellness, but I'm curious as to why you chose that path in your career.
When I first graduated from Stanford, I got married 2 weeks after graduation. I had my first child 11 and a half months later, and then my daughter 15 months later. And so I had children really, really quickly. And I was struggling with how to raise children and work. And so I fell back on my fitness career. I started doing personal fitness training on a small scale, and then had an opportunity to do some consulting for a little bitty company back in the day called Cisco. Right. And it was back before they were public. It was back when they were just a smaller company, and was able to do just a little work for them. And every day just built a little bit more. I didn't start out to build a fitness company. I started out finding a way that I could bring in some revenue while still staying home with my children. I couldn't afford childcare at the time. We had 2 children. So I really just was looking for ways that I could be excited and engaged in life, because I know that when I'm happy and I'm excited, I can get other people excited. And so I just needed to find an outlet for me that I was excited about. And that just grew, because you take one step and then you take another step. Nothing was a grand idea to start with. Even these fireside chats that I'm doing, it started out, I just wanted to do a couple to just see if it was fun, to see if people would show up for these. And it's blossomed. And that's the way I like to do things. If it's exciting, it's fun, then I'll continue. But I don't want to make some huge commitment and then realize it's not something I want to do long term.
Right. Well, I have to say you do a great job with the fireside chats, and I think I'm a firm believer in when you somehow sort of line up your intent and you're moving in the direction that you should go, everything sort of just falls into place. So it's nice to see that. Uh, and one of the things I want to share with you, Patty, I haven't told you this, but you really did have a strong impact on me at Stanford. And I remember when you first got to school and they said that you threw the shot and discus, I just kind of looked at you because you're somewhat smaller in stature and you're expecting someone maybe even larger than myself. And when they told me that, you kind of perplexed me a little. I thought, she throws the shot and discus? And then I watched you and I thought, oh my God, she is just strong and fast, and all the techniques you had with weightlifting and everything. And you really did push me because I almost felt like the big sister where you can't let the little sister beat you, so you have to work hard. So I can remember distinctly days where we would get our practices and be told what to do, and then the coaches wouldn't be around. And I was just hoping, okay, they said 8, we can do 7 or 6. But you were one of the people who said, nope, we're going to do exactly what they've said. So I have to thank you for that, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have pushed myself this hard. You did have a big impact on me.
You've always pushed yourself really hard, Pam, and that's something I've always admired about you. I mean, clearly your accomplishments are phenomenal, and I love that excellence about you, and I think that's what drew me back into your world. I saw that you were part of the lean management. I saw that you were a scrum master. I had just been introduced to lean management probably now a year and a half ago, and I was really intrigued by it. I really loved it. I really felt like it was a way that I could connect with the excellence that I wanted from my team. And when I realized that you were doing this, I was all over again. Of course, when I came to Stanford, it was Pam Dukes, right? And I was in awe of that. And then to realize that it came full circle and you're having that same excellence and that same drive and that same dedication now in the business world, being a scrum master and all these techniques that you use, it just brought everything really full circle in this beautiful way that I just really wanted to get back in touch with you and really connect on a professional level. And we've done it. And I'm just really happy. Really thankful.
Yeah. Yes, those listening should know. I think Patty and I communicate now at least once a day, if not every other day. We will text each other. We've signed up for a class that I'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later on. But I wanted to ask you, because you explained kind of how you fell into the fitness and wellness category. And I'm wondering, what is it that you really enjoy about it now? And then maybe what are some of the things that you find challenging?
So what I really enjoy, well, I'll step back. The reason I got into it was because I did have that background in training and physical fitness. And so when I started working on the first fitness center for Cisco and then eventually other companies, it was really around fitness. But I learned pretty quickly that just having a physical body that was healthy was not nearly enough. And I started really looking at the mental aspects of well-being, and it really turned and broadened my scope of what it means to be healthy, what it means to be vibrant and alive. And you can be healthy, your biometrics can be good, your weight could be good, your weight can be high or low, it doesn't matter. But if you're not thriving, if you're not flourishing, if you're not excited about life, the physical attributes, doesn't matter how much you can bench press or how much you can squat or how much you can deadlift, what you can do or how fast you can run. If you're a miserable human being, life it's just not a lot of fun. And so I started looking at the mental side of well-being, and I was captivated immediately. And that led to looking at the workplace and what it needs to be really flourishing in a workplace. And yes, you can have a gym, but if you have a tyrant for a boss who's putting you down every day and telling you you're not good enough, and then you go home at night, you may have worked out during the day, you may have eaten well, but you go home at night and you're miserable. That bag of bonbons and that bottle of wine sure sounds good because you're miserable. And I really started diving in. And in 2015, I got my master's degree in health promotion management. And we went a lot into those types of things as well. And so I started incorporating a lot of the work from Norton Seligman and positive psychology, and then started just really expanding to what's good for business is good for the person. And if we take care of our people people, then the business is taken care of. And so my version of well-being and my version of wellness has expanded greatly. And I find it just a lot of fun to support people to be their best self, whether they're at home or at work. And the challenges that you asked about is that people, by and large, often think that worksite wellness is about a fitness center, and that's it.
Right.
And that it's not about the teams and it's not about the interactions, but it is hugely dependent upon your personal interactions, whether you have a best friend at work, which I do, and I think that's one of the best parts of my job, is that I do have this best friend at work, and we love to do projects together. We love to get excited about things together. We can talk about things, and it makes work just so enjoyable. And so looking at that and looking at all those elements that make us our best self is what gets me excited.
Wow, that's a really interesting take. I can definitely see that. I remember working with people in the past who were going through a lot of difficulties and things, and you know, when they got to work, you try to kind of make them feel better and do what you could. But again, we still have to get all this work done too. So I, I realize that's a challenge. So tell me what inspires you, Patty.
I'm learning that what inspires me is truly seeing excellence and being around excellence. And I enjoy talking to people that really have a passion for doing the best they can do. And again, going back to you, Pam, going back to the people that we've brought into the fireside chats, I love surrounding myself with people that are excellent in their field. They can be a great painter, a great gardener, a great baker, a great housekeeper. I've just got people in my life that I just am inspired by the fact that they take such care and dedication into the work. We have people on our janitorial staff at Lucille Packard Children's Hospital that firmly believe that they save our children. They heal our children by keeping those rooms clean and sanitary, that their mission in life is to heal children. And to me, that is the most incredible gift, to wake up every morning and know that you have a passion and a mission for life, and it shows and it exudes in people. You often meet somebody and you just know immediately that they've got a heart on fire for something. And it doesn't even matter what it is. It's just that they're excited about life. And that I'm drawn to that, and that motivates me. And then I learn from them the things that are really exciting about the world and about life. And I learn about their techniques for being their best self. And that is so inspiring to me every day.
That's great. What gives you peace of mind?
The peace of mind comes, especially right now during the COVID epidemic, is that, or pandemic, is that I'm okay. I don't have a saber-toothed tiger at my neck. I don't have anything that immediately is threatening me. I believe that everything will turn out okay. I have a hope deep down inside that it's going to be okay. And I also believe that if challenges come, and they will, that's what life is about. Life is not about getting rid of challenges. Life's about finding the good in the challenges and finding the opportunity in the challenges. So even if I were to lose my job, that's a possibility. It's a possibility for a lot of us right now. My husband's company is struggling right now because of what's going on, that we are going to get creative. And we've already started talking about what would we do if we get creative. And creativity is born out of necessity. If you are given a challenge and you're giving a small box of nothing, you're going to get very, very creative. But if you have the world at your fingertips, well, why do you need to get creative? You can just get it done pretty simply with a few matchsticks. But if you really are forced into a new situation and you can look at it in terms of an opportunity, you will find the opportunity. I'm a firm believer that if we look for what's bad in the world, we will find what's bad in the world. If we look for what's good in the world, we will find what's good, and we will thrive by that joy that we find in what's good. And if we can look at the challenges as opportunities, or as David Honeycutt says, as chances, then then it opens up the creative juices within us and we find new ways to thrive. If we just know in our hearts it's going to be okay, we just have to find the path. We just have to find the new beginning or the new story. We are all the director, the writer, the editor of our story. And what is our story going to be? Are we going to be a victim or are we going to be a success story? And we have that choice every single day.
Patty, I feel like we're listening to the same YouTube channels and podcasts and everything. There's so much that you're saying that resonates with me. I would love to talk about the class we're taking. I found a class online for Yale from Coursera, and I think it's free. If you pay $50, you get the certificate at the end. It's called The Science of Well-Being. And I read that it was the most popular class at Yale, and I thought, well, let's check this out. And I mentioned it to Patty because we had just reconnected. So she signed up. So we're doing it actually at the same time. Um, and it's interesting because I was reading about the professor. She actually graduated from Harvard and got her PhD there, but now she teaches at Yale. And every so often she'll make kind of a jab about Harvard and how, they're not as good, which I find amusing because she went to school there. But I'm curious as to if you have any takeaways or any of the things that you're really enjoying from that class that we're taking.
Sure. One of the things that you and I've talked about several times is the fact that they asked us day one to take the character strengths survey.
Right.
And it was originally, I believe, created by Martin Seligman, or it's part of his group at Penn. But the web address it's free. It's www.via character.org, and you can take this survey, and it gives you your 24 character strengths in order. And so you and I, of course, shared those, we color coded them, and it's really fun to see as you dive into what those character strengths look like, how important those are. And I love that. I love all the science of the brain. As I mentioned earlier, we have so many things about us that we haven't even tapped the tip of the iceberg on. And our brain is such an amazing piece of machinery. And as we learn how it works and how we can tap into the resources of it, that's fascinating. And I've taken a lot of classes on positive psychology and on happiness. And there are things in this class that I had no idea even existed. And
Yes.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm loving her as an instructor. It's just a really awesome thing. And I think a lot of people right now have time maybe to take a course like that. It's well chunked out, so there's little bitty chunks of it. But I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited to use the things we're learning into our work, into our conversations, and then to turn it around and help other people in our organizations.
Excellent. I think there's a couple things that I took away from it. One of them when she talks about the hedonic adaptation. And so essentially that means that, at some point we have something that makes us happy, but then as time goes on, we no longer stay in that happy state. We kind of grow back down to where we were at our normal rate, and we have trouble hanging on to that. And she gives us all these strategies about how you need to stay in the moment and to savor. And some of the things she mentions we do is we maybe minimize whatever we're going through, like it's not that big a deal, or it'll never be this way again. Or she lists all these different things. And when you do that, it just takes the happiness away. And it was stunning to me to see that. I'm trying to think of something else. Oh, the other key point that I think we talked about on the fireside chat was one of the researchers said that, if you take a pie, they say that 50% of your happiness is based on genetics. So you look at your parents and you could gauge kind of what their level is. You figure you're at a certain point. And then 10% is just based on life circumstances. So if you go outside and, you have a flat tire or something, of course, that's tough. But then 40% is based on intentional activities. So to me, that's what you do every day, what you watch, what you read, what you listen to. That is what is affecting your happiness. And I definitely believe that. And like I said, I know we follow a lot of authors and people and listen to some of the same books and things. And I find that the more I surround myself with that, the more it lifts my spirit and the better I feel. But I also see when folks that I see who are not doing that and surrounding themselves with more negativity, I can see that they're, kind of sad or not feeling well. And I'm doing every thing I can to drag them out of it. But, they don't want to do that. They want to stay kind of in that surrounding. So it's hard. But I agree. There's some really big eye-opening things that we're seeing that they're not even like really difficult to master or understand, but when you sit and you hear it, you think, huh, that makes sense. So I agree with you. I'm really enjoying that class
And
a
it
lot.
really points out how important it is to surround yourself with the people that are positive. I've
Absolutely.
minimized my interactions with those who
Hmm.
don't want to focus on the positive, and that's hard to do. It's
Yeah.
hard to cut ties, and sometimes you need to. It's hard
Hmm.
to let go of things that have been so comfortable for so many years and for so long, and to really set your boundaries and be able to say no to what's not serving you so that you have
Right.
more room for what can serve you and lift your spirit and bring you that joy.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, what would you say your biggest accomplishment has been so far in your life?
Wow, you're gonna make me emotional or something.
Oh, I
You
didn't
know,
mean to do that.
no, that's okay. I really think that it is having the life I have in terms
Hmm.
of the emotional abundance, the
Hmm.
relational abundance. I
Hmm.
have a lot of blessings in my life, so I don't want to
Right.
minimize. I live in a place that I feel is heaven. I live in the Santa
Hmm.
Cruz Mountains. It is a
Hmm.
glorious place. I have a beautiful family, and all of those things are wonderful. But I
Right.
think the thing I'm most proud of is that most days I get up and I'm really excited about life. And I'm
Right.
excited about the people in my life. I'm
Hmm.
excited to connect with them. I'm excited to live. And even though it's, a pretty crappy time right now
Right.
for a lot of people,
Hmm.
um, I feel that I've somehow made some good decisions in life to bring
Hmm.
me to a place that I can have this conversation with you and I
Hmm.
can be a success story rather than a victim, because
Right.
my life has not been a cakewalk. I've
Right.
got a lot of things that I could tell you have gone wrong in my life, but at the end of the day, I've risen and
Hmm.
I've smiled
Hmm.
and I've surrounded myself with just such beautiful people and positive things that it's a joy to wake up on most days. Now that's not every day. I mean, I have my moments. You could get my husband down here and we talk about a lot of things and he would say, "Oh yeah, well you didn't see her 2 days ago."
2 days
But
ago.
most
Uh-huh.
days I get up and I have a zest for life, and that's one of the
Hmm.
character strengths
Hmm.
that just propels me forward. And I want to believe that then, according to the research too, also helps other people to be their best.
Absolutely. Now, this may be a hard question. I would like you to perhaps describe one of the failures that you consider a failure in your life, and I'd like to know what you learned from it, and maybe if you were able to somehow turn it around.
Yeah. Um, I would say I've had a lot of failures and most of them I'm proud of because they've
Okay.
taught me something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had, one of them, there's a couple that I've thought about, and they're generally in relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
those relationships that maybe I overreacted to something. And I can think of one in particular. It was around the time I was selling my company, and it still weighs heavy on me because I don't have a relationship with this person. And I found out she had done something that I didn't understand or know about, and I lashed out at her. And I'm not usually, I don't think somebody that lashes out, but I did because there was a lot on the line. I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
going to lose the entire offer on selling the company, which meant a lot of people's livelihood was on the line. It was a
Right.
huge thing, and I literally, I know I made her feel really really horrible, and
Right.
that felt bad, and
Mm-hmm.
I still regret that, but I don't necessarily know how to fix it. So what I've learned from that is I never want to do it again. I don't ever want to make somebody feel that bad.
Understood. Understood. Well, given the way you are treating those you work with and the people in your life, and all the things you're doing that are so positive and so great, Patty, it just fills me with joy to see all the great things you're doing.
Oh, you're
And
so
I
sweet.
am done with my questions. Did you have any questions you want to ask me?
It did get me emotional. I was surprised at that. That's why I don't do a lot of interviews because
I can
I
see them texting me now. Did you make her cry?
and it's tears of I mean, in most ways, it's tears of happiness. It make me feel bad, but you did
Hmm.
make me realize that was a huge turning point in my life.
Right.
That one of my Well, I think it is my favorite quote in the world. It's Maya Angelou, and it
Mm-hmm.
says, and I'm going to butcher it, even though I should
Mm-hmm.
know it by heart, is that people don't care what you know; they care about how you make them feel.
Feel
I do
exactly.
cry every day. Now, am I perfect at it? Am I even probably really good at it? Probably not. But
Mm-hmm.
every day I wake up and I do strive for that. How do I support somebody else who might be having a bad day? And that may just
Mm-hmm.
be thanking somebody at the grocery store. It may be making sure that I thank somebody who is at work on the janitorial staff doing their best work that maybe no one's even acknowledged today. It's
Absolutely.
about helping people be seen and
Mm-hmm.
supported. So it's not tears of upset. It's
Mm-hmm.
more I'm really thankful for that gift. It was a horrible
Absolutely.
time, and at some point I need to go back to this person and let her and help her understand that it still does weigh, and I want to repair that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's a learning thing, and we don't
Absolutely.
grow unless we have that pain. I really don't think we grow unless we have something that strikes us so to the heart that we're willing to make the effort to make a change.
Absolutely. You just made me think of a situation that I'd like to share. And this is sort of a regret that I have. At one point, when I moved here to Dallas, I had a boss, and she was a lady. And I haven't had that many lady bosses up until then. So I was very excited to think, oh my gosh, like, there's a woman that I get to report to. And she had 5 direct reports. And I remember we would have meetings, and in the meetings, Patty, she yelled at everybody. So she would turn to the first person and yell at them because they hadn't done something. And she went around, and then she came to me and she yelled at me. And I know I had this look of, I know she's not yelling at me, because I was stunned, because I'd never been treated that way at work in front of, our peers. And so I thought, okay, she's just having a bad day. No, this was her management style. And I remember I went and I talked to one of the managers that were there, and I actually started crying because I don't get yelled at a lot. So it threw me. And so I thought about it, and I remember I was so excited to finally have someone who was not a male boss all the time, but is a female boss. And this is what I got. And I remember the second time she yelled at me, it clicked in my head, and I said, yeah, I'm not staying here. I'm
Yep.
just not. Even though I loved the job, I was there 4 months, and I ended up leaving. And it was actually a time when I needed to leave because we had some family situations going on. They had the biggest going away party for me, Patty. I worked there 4 months. They ordered 2 cakes. There were balloons. We took like half the day. It was just unbelievable. And my biggest regret was, at the time, I didn't have the strength to look her in the eye and tell her that, one, you should not ever treat people that way. And one of the reasons I'm leaving is because this is what you've done. So that's one of those things where I've told myself, if I'm ever in a situation where something like that happens again, I need to let them know, because if I don't, they're going to keep doing the same thing. And if I have an opportunity to hopefully make that change, then I should do it. So you can see it stayed with me all this time. But
There's a book called Dying for a Paycheck, and it's not a wellness book; it's a
mm,
management book, and it's by my
wow.
friend Jeffrey Pfeffer. And it came out a couple years ago, and it's talking
Hmm.
about just that: is that we're killing people by our management styles, and that's
Hmm.
one of the things that I'm really passionate about. Is,
Hmm.
is teaching that. And so for you or anybody else, if you have the opportunity, if you leave a job, and I've left positions for that same reason,
Hmm.
and I've shared it as best I could. But again, it's
Hmm.
hard. It's hard because you
Hmm.
don't want to make someone feel bad as you're walking out the door. But at the same
Right.
time, there's 4 people left that are going to continue to have that.
Exactly.
And if somebody's been abused as a child, they're maybe willing to take it as they get
Right.
older. I've seen that time and time again. Those of us who are stronger are no longer willing to do that. And
Absolutely.
we got to get there, and we got to support each other, and we got to support each other as women, and to know about another woman who's treating people in that way, it's just not appropriate. And organizations need to start seeing that, because
Exactly.
we need to build people up. People do their best work when they're
Hmm.
built up and they're made to feel
Absolutely.
empowered to do their best work.
That's great. Okay, are we ending on a good note then? Is that good?
Oh, oh, this has all been good. So
Did we bring it back around?
it's
I
all
think I asked. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask me? I like to flip the script in case you have anything before we end.
well. What is the biggest gift that you've received during this stay at home that you wouldn't have expected?
Um, Probably just spending the extra time with my son, who's 11 now, and just kind of watching him do his work and grow. He's taking computer coding classes and he really enjoys that. And, it's such a pleasure just to see and watch him grow and be a part of that and to see him learn. And, one of the things that helped me ever since I became a mom is no matter what happens, I come home and I get to hang out with him. So it's all good. No matter what it is, I just think, well, I'm almost home. I get to spend my time with my son. And anything that I was carrying on my shoulders or weighing on me, it all falls to the floor. So I would say just getting to spend more time with him is a big gift.
That's beautiful. And that will
Thank
stay
you.
with him for the rest of his life. What a great gift. Thank you so much, Pam. And thanks for sharing
Thank
this
you
time.
very much. It's my pleasure, Patty. Thank you for joining. I'm extremely grateful. And I look forward to continuing our communication and enjoying our class and everything. Thank you so much.
Me as well. Thank you, Pam, so much.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.